Hi there, hello, and welcome to episode 13 of the Digital Quill podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. I am me, she is she. Hi. How are we doing today? How are we? Seriously, no, seriously. If you ever watch these episodes and I ask that question, for community engagement purposes, all I need is one word. Just one. Fine. Okay. You can make it fancy and say, I'm okay or I'm fine. So what are we going to do today? Well, first off, we're going to go over here. Because I don't really want to do a visit. I don't really want to do a video episode today. Today's episode is going to be short and sweet. And yes, my God, I am aware I say that almost every time now. I'm only on episode 13, people. But I do intend on making this one short and sweet because I am on day 2 officially of writing 21 Days Gone. Now, I feel like I owe myself and the entire internet an explanation. I didn't just decide that May 2025 was gonna be when I started writing a book. And I know I've explained this before, that this story is truth-torn... Excuse me. God damn it. I was doing this earlier with TikTok, and I just need to take a breath and slow it down just a bit. Okay. I know I've explained this before. I know that this story is truth turned fiction, and I know that I've gone over a little bit about how this is about what happened to me in a more fictional state. A lot of the elements in the book itself are actual memories and events that have taken place in my life and in the lives of people close to me. I have so many thoughts always, all the time, swirling around in my head. And I do feel like I owe myself and the internet all kinds of explanations. Could be an insecurity thing, could be a lot of things, who knows? I mean, I know, probably, and therapy knows, probably. But yeah. So, with that being said, no, I did not just decide all of a sudden to start writing this book. I have, at this point now, years worth of notes, physical pieces of the book that are actually going to be put into the book. Writing my first book, and writing it, and preparing it, and birthing it, and getting to the point where I can sit down this May and take the next 29 days to write this shit. I've been making the joke to myself, kinda, sorta, I guess it's a joke, that this idea of 21 Days Gone, the girl who lost her tattoo, has been a concept idea I've had for a long time, probably most of my 20s. Because I know in a previous episode in talking about 21 Days Gone, I said that originally the title was coined as The Girl Who Lost Her Tattoo because I thought about what TJ would do, my biological father, if he ever saw my memorial tattoo to my actual dad, the actual dad who fucking raised me and didn't grape me and didn't grape a dog and didn't fucking do all of the gross, disgusting, inhuman, immoral shit that he did in front of me, to me, etc. etc. I should have content warned that, but now you know. I knew going into writing this that I would be unearthing all sorts of memories and stuff that my brain locked away, and I have. I mentioned that in one of the episodes, I think, where I was reading a book and I remembered the bloody sheets. The thing that gets to me, and it scientifically to me doesn't make sense, but at the same time, like, it happened, so scientifically it has to make sense. But I was so young. How does the physical anatomy of that even fucking work? Like, I don't want to picture that. I actually don't want to even fucking know, but for, like, understanding purposes, I guess, and because I am morbidly curious about everything. Curiosity did kill the cat. At least I have 9 lives. Maybe. But, like, how does any of that work? And that's actually something that I've been exploring about writing in my book, because as an author, you have to ask some very strange questions. Some that actually probably put you on a fucking list somewhere. I'm probably on several lists at this point. Some of the things I've had to ask for research. If my FBI agent that lives in my phone is watching this episode, I promise I'm not a serial killer. Violence actually bothers me. I feel like even though I understand its place in the world, I think we could do better, is the short of it. Second day of writing the book that I've been technically writing for 5 years now. Technically the book that's been writing itself for the last 20 years now. I have to chuckle every time I get to, like, a milestone in writing it, because I'm like, I keep remembering the sheer amount of people who told my mother and I that we should write a book when I was growing up. And I was like, yeah, well, I guess I'm going to now. Yay. Good for me, I guess. I'm actually gonna do it. I'm actually doing it. I'm actually making headway and progress, and every fucking milestone I've set for it has actually been, like, proven to myself, and it's kind of jarring to go from being someone who feels like they're absolutely inept at everything to confident in writing a project that would normally take a long time. And I mean, I guess it has, but, like, what happened? Who are you, Mars? Who the fuck are you? I don't recognize you anymore. You're responsible? ? Organized? Dedicated? Dang, look at you go, girl. I guess. Yeah, no, seriously, being neurodivergent, and also just everything that has ever led up to the point that I am at now, growing up, adulthood, jobs, work, life, stress, everything. It's crazy. Like, I actually asked the future podcast guest how they managed to make it through their life being neurodivergent. And I ask people that sometimes, because once I, like, realize that other people have lived longer or, like, have just lived differently, I'm like, wait a minute. Share me your wisdom. Tell me absolutely everything. Because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. It may look like I know what I'm doing. I'm just doing things, hoping for the best. And maybe that's just what everyone does. Maybe we're all just doing things and hoping for the best. At least, I hope we're doing things that are good things and not, like, hurting people intentionally. I will finish this book. And if you are interested in reading it before it gets sent out to the world, let me know. Because, quite frankly, I know I hate asking for help. I know it seems almost impossible for me to ask for help, but It would mean absolutely everything to me. If even 5 or 10 people read my first book. And I'm going to be pushing this book for a while. Not only because it's my first book, but also because the story that created the book the tragedy that created the book, the nights that I lost sleep due to insomnia, the nights that I lost sleep because of fear, because of PTSD, the night I almost died because I wasn't at home, because I was in foreign places with foreign people, not foreigners, but like foreign people, people unknown to me. Story that created this story. The message behind that. I'm going to be pushing 21 Days Gone probably for the rest of my life. Because what happened to me as a child, as a fucking toddler, as a 2 to 5 year old, I never, ever, ever want to see happen to another child. And I have felt that way for at least 20 years of my fucking life. "21 Days Gone" is important to me because for 21 days I was kidnapped by a monster. I was not at home. I was not with my mom. I was not with my medication that I needed at the time. I was probably not eating. I was almost unenrolled from school. The special needs classes I was in because I needed those for my ADHD and autism and fetal alcohol syndrome. I was a freak of a child because of all of that shit. And no child, no woman, no person should ever have to go through what I went through. And the unfortunate and sad truth is it's probably happening right now. So yeah, this book is fucking important to me, and I am going to be pushing it for the rest of my life because god damn it, when I tell you that these conversations need to be had, that we need to have the hard fucking conversations, I'm not just fucking around with you. The world is sad and hurt. And it's up to us to make it better for ourselves, for the future children, for everybody. And if you don't agree with me, that's okay. That's your right. You have freedom and free will. But I have to ask you, why? Why do you want to hide behind your keyboards and your incognito browsers? You know, one day it's going to be absolutely impossible to hide, right? You know what quantum computing can do, right? Let's talk about that sometime. So yeah, 21 Days Gone is going to be my absolute legacy. I'm going to end up writing other fictions and fantasies and stuff that are lighthearted and more fun because that is what I wanted to do too growing up. But the first thing I want to do, the first order of business I want to get down to, damn it, is having these hard conversations about sexual assault and pedophilia. Because we all have a fucking choice to be better than we are. And if I can get you to read this book, if I can get you to stop making horrible fucking choices for yourselves and other people, then great. My trauma makes sense. I can die one day knowing that I was able to help save someone from the fucking trauma and tragedy of this human life. So please read my book. But please do more than just read it. Please understand that the message behind it is that we can be better. We don't have to become monsters like the monster that lived under my bed for 5 fucking years. Now that you've had a moment to decompress after all that, let's switch to something a little more fun. There's not going to be a lot of sound. But, here we go. Hi again. And goodbye. And this. And over here. So this is the main homepage for the Digital Quill Press. As you can see, the about. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause. Here's the home. Here's the second part where there is the podcast. Oh no, it's me. Gross. Don't worry about this. This is my fuck around and hang out YouTube, so if you see anything interesting here, let me know. We're gonna go here though. This is the YouTube, guys. If you aren't watching these podcasts through the YouTube, well, now you know where to go. It's the same profile picture I've been using every fucking where. I don't know what the rules are yet about showing off other videos, but I would really like to. And before we get to this bullshit, let's go here. I actually have on my episode 13 notes here to browse the internet with you. Mainly because episode 13 is kind of a fuck around and find out episode. I'm mainly just doing things to do things, because doing things helps you improve upon the things that you are doing, and you also learn things, and as I stated earlier, I just do things and hope for the best. So we're doing things and hoping for the best. This is the Unsealed community with our wonderful, incredible, amazing creator of this community, Lauren Brill. Now, let's read the about. Actually, I've read the about to you. I am just gonna let you read so I can drink this. You probably don't know what this is, do you? I'm drinking a Bang. It's cotton candy flavored. Oh yeah, some people need silence when they read. Okay, that's all I can do. But yeah, this is Lauren Brill. She's created the Unsealed community for, letters and people and just to create a community. And here's my profile. Now you're wondering probably why I'm showing you this. One, I don't like asking for help or asking for things in general. So I'm practicing that sometimes. The first thing besides commenting and stuff that I'd like to ask for is this. I entered a contest. I enter almost all of them, or at least I try to. And the contests are usually just prompts, and I try to enter the prompts because I like the prompts. I like being prompted to do something, I guess, sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And sometimes my work gets selected to enter the second round of voting. I recently got an email talking about that. And the contest was this one. Write a love letter to something, not someone that you love. I'm going to read it here today, because this is actually one of my more favorite entries, and I'm kind of glad in a way that it got to go to the second round of voting, because when your pieces get moved on to the second round, you get an email saying, hey, congratulations, you've moved on to the next round of voting, yay. Every time there's always a Zoom meeting or like a meeting kind of thing that happens, because we read our entries out loud. Excuse me. We either read our entries out loud or Lauren reads them for us, and we kind of just talk. I think I've mentioned the talking part before, how in one of the meetings I was on one time, one of the people said that if we could all treat each other in the world how we treat each other here in the meetings and stuff, the world would be a better place. And I full-heartedly agree. This picture I actually worked kind of hard on. You can see a younger version of me, my dad and my grandma, my dog and my cat, my truck. Writing with grief. Dear Grief, my oldest friend, I've known you quite a while. I met you when I was still just a child, in a hood I didn't grow up in a life of playing pretend. Dear Grief, I grieved my childhood. Dear Grief, I grieved my purity. Dear Grief, I grieve my dad, my family, my dog, and my kitty. Dear Grief, I ache and carry your love with me. For it is you that has taught me love. To love truth for truth's sake makes sense, but to learn to love you took ages. To love and to hold will always be better than to not at all. Of course I love you, Grief. You hurt me, but it's a hurt that heals me. You hurt me, but it's a love that never leaves me. You hurt me, but it's okay because I love you. In your absence, I can smile. In your presence, I remember. I remember my dad, who was the best father. I remember my mother, who wasn't always bad. I remember my dog, who got me through 13 years, who I was with until the end. I remember my kitty and how she was so pretty. I remember my mission, to help people heal and smile. Of course I love you, Grief. I love you because even though I grieve and have grieved, I'm still here, able to share their stories and keep their memories. And yeah, I grieve my childhood, the one I didn't have, the purity taken from me and the pains it may always bring me. But I still love you, Grief. I love you because of their memory. I love you because of what you've taught me. I love you, Grief. Thank you for writing with me. Voting ends June 1st, so if you are interested in giving me a vote, I will share this link in the description. But anytime I talk about voting on the Unsealed, I don't care about the prizes or the winning or the votes. I keep entering the contests and I keep doing the prompts because, as I said earlier, I just like prompts. But what I really like is being able to do the Zoom meetings. You can't read the other entries when it's like not voting time yet until you've put in yours. And that's another reason why. There are a lot of people on the Unsealed community with such powerful voices. And I know a lot of them feel silenced. The world has a funny way of making us feel silent. Mute, even. Which I guess is the same thing. Another one I want to read to you is write a letter to your fear. And before I keep reading and get into this one, we're going to go back to my logo. When I first was writing the write a love letter to something, not someone you love, I started out with writing about truth. And if you give me 3 seconds, a little more than 3. I was probably like 6. Were you counting? Originally, I started out with a different idea. One of the lines in that poem letter thing was to love truth for truth's sake makes sense. That's actually an allusion or an alluding to the original entry that I was going to go with. Before I start, to love truth does not always mean that you are going to be 100% truthful. There might be people who disagree on that one. But I want you to take a moment. The biggest lie everybody says is I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm alright. That's the biggest lie everybody says. To love truth doesn't always mean that you are truthful. It means that you want to be truthful as often as possible, with the least amount of discrepancies as possible. We will talk about this more in another episode, but I have a quote here. To love truth for truth's sake is the principal part of the human perfection in this world and the seed plot of all other virtues. To simplify that, and to kind of tell you where I am with truth. Without truth, without authenticity, no other value or moral makes sense. There may be 3 sides to everything, and even a 4th. Multiple sides to everything. But the underlying truth is there, and it will always come out no matter what. My original thing for write a love letter to something you love was truth, because I wanted to get that message out there about truth, about honesty, about authenticity, about my struggles with it, journey with it. But also, it didn't feel right writing that as a prompt. It really didn't. It didn't feel right writing as a prompt because at the first I was like, this is a good idea. I like it. And I had a good thing going. But then the deadline was getting closer and I was like, it still doesn't feel right. So I sat with it for a little bit. And I thought about what I loved more than truth. And the reason I said in the poem letter thing that to love truth for truth's sake makes sense is because it does. Why would I write about something that I should already love? Why would I write about something that I didn't learn to love? I learned to love grief. We weren't always friends. Sometimes I'm still learning to love grief. But truth, I've always hated lying. Always. I overthink it. Part of my insomnia is because of lying. I may not be truthful right away, as per my past has been. But I do make it a point to keep in mind when I am not telling the truth and when I am not being authentic. Because personally, for me, I have to correct that. I have to make that better. I have to make that right. I can't just be inauthentic and untruthful all the time. It actually eats away at me doing so. I start getting stressed, depressed. Like, anything that I normally am, if I'm being untruthful consecutively, like, I will fall apart. I can't do it. I've tried, and I'm probably going to try again, but I can't be untruthful without major consequences to myself. The next poem that I wanted to read with you, and then we're going to kind of wrap it up. Is to write a love letter to your fear, or not a love letter, write a letter to your fear. And before I begin on that one, as I said, I'm going to try to make this part quick. I sat with this for a bit because I thought my fear was something else. And very similarly to the grief one, I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. So what do I do? How do I unlock my fear? Because one of the other things I like doing with these entries is like a form of self-therapy. You know, really digging into my value and me and everything, my brain, my thought process through these letters, these poems. So I sat with my fear. And I started asking myself questions. Like, what am I afraid of? So I would say a word out loud. And I would listen for my body's reactions. Nothing. More words out loud, more words to myself, nothing. And then I got to this one. And I started swallowing. Like, I had physical body reactions. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So then I like kind of sat with that and I'm like, okay, I think I'm afraid of being too much. So I wrote this. Dear too much, I had to sit with you for a while. Under my flesh you crawl, but I'm ready to brawl. Too much trauma and too much baggage, or at least that is what I told myself. Like a swirling vortex, a tornado I cradle, I've held on to you like some sort of label. Dear too much, I had to sit with you a while, just to figure you out. Call by call and talk by talk, he fixes that. Walk by walk, I remember that. If one therapist can handle all this, then someone else can too. And maybe, just maybe, too much is actually just enough. Dear too much, you're finally out of touch. This one isn't as powerful to me in the way of like wording, but the story of how I got to this point to writing it was powerful. I was under the impression for a long time that emotions and fears and other things could be seen and felt in your body. I got a wonderful lesson in human anatomy and body language by doing this one. So I recommend, if you are afraid of something or feeling anything, sit with it for a while. Pay attention to it. See where it's coming from. Now we go here, and then we wrap things up. This is Twitter X. More specifically, my Twitter X. This is the only social media, I think, that I have a blue check mark on. And yes, I had to pay for it. Don't ask. Paid for it for a year because it was really fucking cheap. So yes, I have this for another year. Or not another year, like, let's see. 8 months? Maybe? I don't know. But I'm going to start writing articles here. Here are some highlights, just because I've been hanging out on this platform a little bit more because there are a lot of writers. Like, holy crap, there are so many writers here on Twitter X. And I know it wants to be called X, and I know people want to call it Twitter still. So that's why I went with Twitter X. The best of both worlds. And also, I can get rid of the stupid / when writing it in the fucking texts of social media posts. I finally settled on a thing. Also, if you are on Twitter, please repost this because, haha. Hi again. 37 minutes. 37 minutes. And I have no more notes. I mean, the only notes I have here are as follows. Episode 13, Friday, May 2nd. Short, sweet. Browse the internet. Why I do this, again. Life has many interconnecting reasons. Practically nothing. What the fuck was that? Oh, shit. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know when I drew that, but I drew it. Sometimes I find little surprises like that in my notebook of things I've written down or drew, apparently. My quote. Oh, and my giant poetry book. I was going to read something from there, but I don't feel like it anymore. I really need to get to work anyway. Please read my book. Please listen to future podcasts, especially the upcoming one. Because the next one I do, life, man. Fucking life. I actually recorded 3 different videos that I had intended to post on TikTok, and they're sitting in my drafts right now. And knowing me, and knowing how the last week has gone, they're probably going to stay in my drafts. And it's gotten really loud in the apartment complex. That's great. You do you, buddy. You do you. Oh! Before I go, I am finally going camping again. So, the next time I come back, I'm probably going to be talking about that a lot. And also, I'll probably be talking about the first guest episode, which, if you haven't figured it out by now, after all the hints I've kind of dropped, it's tomorrow. You are getting 4 episodes this week. We got one on Monday. We got one on Wednesday. We got one today, which is Friday. And you're getting one tomorrow. That's right. You get to have me for 4 days this week. 4 days this week. Sorry about it. I am so sorry. I'm mostly doing this for me, not for you. I did 3 episodes this week because in my quest to make the audio sound better and first guest episode and other things, I was like, I should probably push 3 episodes out this week just for my, benefit in the way of fuck around and find out. And I'd say it's gone well enough. I've come to some personal realizations behind the scenes. Number 1 being my hair is way too long to shake it around with a microphone right in front of me. That was not a behind the scenes moment though, so I guess I can't really count that. Why I do this, these podcast episodes, why I'm on episode 13, which I can't tell you how awesome it is to me that I somehow managed to make episode 13 on a Friday. A part of me feels like I might have accidentally planned that on purpose, which don't ask me how that's possible. It just is. And, yeah. It's not Friday the 13th. I don't know when we have another Friday the 13th, but technically it's Friday the 13th because this is the 13th episode and it's Friday. And I don't really believe in Friday the 13th superstitions, but maybe you can convince me. Maybe. I'm just fucking around. Sorry. I'm just fucking around. You can leave. You can go. It's fine. But, let's see. The reason I do this for me and stuff is, as I've said, there's a lot of reasons. Learning how to advocate for me better, my voice, use my voice more, not stutter as much, public speaking, the book, because I said I would. There's a lot of reasons for this, and please keep watching. Please keep doing what you do as far as engagement and stuff goes, because I hope at the end of the day, everything I do benefits you. One day I'm going to not be alive. One day I'm going to croak, and I hope that along the way, I was able to entertain you. I hope that when you are still alive and I am gone, that you are amused and inquisitive. I hope that you enjoy life. Find peace, find entertainment, find purpose, find yourself, find love. Because that is what we do on this giant blue marble planet thing. We make meaning out of inherently meaningless things. With that being said, that sounds like a good note to end things on. Keep going, humans of Earth. Don't stop. We've got this. Bye.